It's 12:15. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the greatest Rotary Club in the. Today's invocation is Daryl.
Our Father in heaven, we bow before thee and thank thee for this day and the opportunity of gathering together as Rotarians. We're particularly grateful for the success of the wonderful 4th of July weekend and for both the community and for the Rotary Club. We're also grateful for our new leadership and for the past leadership that we've had that is functioning so well. We pray now that thou might bless this food to our bodies for strength and do so in the name of thy Son. Amen.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Teak, we have a song.
Let's do Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take me out to the ballpark. Take me out to the ballpark. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never come back. Root, root, root for the Mariners. Hey, it's a shame. 1, 2, 3, 4, you're out at the old ball game.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? How about guests of Rotarians? All members? All right. Okay. Well, we'll just get into club business. First, I want to thank everybody that came or that was able to make it to installation on Friday night. It was a lot of fun. I'm sorry if I spoke too long, but it was a really lovely evening. And I don't think that I took enough time to thank Phil for his presidency and his year in Rotary. He did a great job leading the club, and I'm very, very excited to be able to follow in his footsteps. So thanks again, Phil. And then right off the bat, we had a foot race. So I saw Brock had posted on Facebook that we had 533 runners. I will say 531 because Cooper and I didn't really run. We just kind of walked really fast, but we finished. Teak is the captain for Team July, and he has asked that anybody on Team July stay after the meeting just for a quick come together so that we can assign different duties. And then let's see, are there any other announcements that anyone needs to make?
Brock could not make it for today's meeting, but he asked that if anybody out there has vests that you have from the foot race, if you can please bring them back to Brock or myself. We'll make sure they get back in the storage unit for next year. Thanks.
I have 2 in my car. Don't let me forget.
Yeah, if you've got them here, we'll grab them afterwards.
Thank you.
And then we have a board meeting on Tuesday. Oh, there's another comment.
Well, now that the Lager Rodeo is all over, so it can all be about the concert series now, right? Anyways, it's coming up real fast. Our first concert is on the 16th. So I could definitely use your help. I'm looking for some raffle items. Where the raffle is going to help support the Sedro Woolley Museum. I have the money to buy the raffle items. I just need ideas and help from people going out and getting some stuff. And then I just wanted to invite everybody. We're going to have a fireside, hopefully if enough Rotarians show up, at my office, Rothenbuehler Engineering, on Saturday at 4 p.m. We're going to be making hula hoops. So it's always a lot of fun. If you haven't had a chance to come out and do it, my sister always puts on a show, and she's threatening to bring her fire hoop to do a show this Saturday too. So please RSVP, because I'm also thinking about picking up some pizzas. It'll be a BYOB type of situation. So my parking lot at 4 p.m. Saturday.
Thank you.
SUV, Toyota.
Is anybody driving a red SUV Toyota? They're pouring concrete and they need it to be moved. A red Toyota SUV? Does anybody have a red vehicle? All right, thanks. All right, well, that was the program, so. Okay, again, there's a board meeting on Tuesday, 5:30 at the Janneke offices. And then Kyle, sorry.
Yeah, so I wanted to say thank you to everybody that participated and helped with the foot race. It was fantastic. We had 533 or so finish. Few last minute registrations, and I was a little grumpy towards the end. I apologize. It was my relative. I had two nieces or two nephews and a niece that came in at 9:20 to register. But other than that, everything went really smoothly. Appreciate everybody's help. It was fantastic. Ken is modeling some beautiful, couple of larges and about, okay, all XLs then. And 3 or 4 mediums. So, but really appreciate everybody's help. It was a great event. So.
I need some help finding some people. Hopefully some of you know them and know how to reach them. This is for the certificates for dinners. Heidi Horsman. Does anybody know Heidi? Deanna Marsh. Bart Bonnell. Okay, thank you.
One thing I forgot to mention, we grossed about 13,500 on the foot race. And of that, about 6,000 expenses, t-shirts and that sort of thing. So should be about $7,500 or 7,000 or so to the scholarships. So again, thanks everybody.
That's awesome.
Thank you, that's great.
They shrunk, so you need to get a couple more big ones.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, are there any other announcements? All right, I have one more. The Fun and Fellowship Committee is planning a Fun and Fellowship Day at the Skagit County Fair. So right now it looks like we're going to be purchasing about 50 tickets. So they're going to be first come, first serve. And we haven't picked the day that we're going to do that. It's most likely going to be Wednesday or Thursday. Is that right, Christina? Is that what we're thinking? So yes, if you're interested, either email Christina or I and let us know how many fair tickets you would be interested in, and come and have fun and fellowship at the fair. We'll have more information later though. Let's see, do we have a raffle?
Okay, we have a raffle. Let's get a number here. Okay, turn it on. We have got number 18, 18. Okay, Bill. Wine. You want a bottle of wine or you want to try spinning again?
Somebody would like the wine.
Okay. Come up and get it, Chris. Got to get your steps here. Uh, 73, 73, 73. All right. Oh, 25 cash. Okay, thank you. Donated. 24, 24, 24. Two at a table. I'm sitting at the good table, but I missed. $20 from Apothecary Coffee. So a gift certificate. Do we want one more? We've got a good crowd, so let's do one more. Okay, it looks like number 11, 1111. All right. Yeah, he's betting on everyone pays $50. It looks like Vineyard Wine and Cheese Plate. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, everyone. So I guess,
All right, let's go into Sergeant of Arms or Sergeant.
okay, well, I guess I get to be Sergeant of Arms. And I didn't have the energy to look up questions that none of you know. So we'll just do, if you helped out at the Sedro Woolley Foot Race, $2 in gratitude for all Daryl's work and all your friends' work there in a successful race with 533 people. But if you didn't help, if you did not help, then that's $3 fine. So put that on your schedule for next year. We need you. And the bad thing, we had this wonderful installation dinner on Friday night, and we paid a lot of money. I'm told $50 a person we paid, and we had two couples that were not able to make it, but did sign up. So that's $200 we paid. So donate a little if you didn't make it to the installation but signed up. Thank you. Okay, any happy bucks?
I know you're not supposed to support and say things, but so I'm just going to say Joe Jones bailed me out today. My wife calls me. I'm eating breakfast with John Smitter over here, and he's telling me about a roadkill salmon that he got. And she said, I got a flat tire, and here's $20. Joe Jones bailed me out.
Okay, thank you, Joe Jones. I heard Joe Jones was dancing nicely on the floats too, and I wanted to get a little video, but unfortunately missed it.
Well, I have a very happy $100 for the Paul Harris Award. That's to replenish the committee's intake of alcohol, drugs, or whatever to have selected me, because they went through a lot. But a heartfelt thank you to whomever it was. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the 100, but you definitely deserve it. David.
So I have a happy $21. Today is Ruth and Vince's 21st wedding anniversary. They're on a trip right now. But the thing I'm most happy about is the next day is when I met Michael Bonacci down at the Timberline on July 7th. And then 11 years after that, over 4,000 days after that, we were able to legally marry 10 years ago. So tomorrow's our 10th anniversary. And it's also Sandra Jensen's unofficial 10th anniversary at Country Meadow Village, because she came to my wedding because Country Meadow Village catered our wedding. And I invited her via Facebook because I figured I should, suck up to my boss and invite her to my wedding, right? And it's a special time for Michael and I. We're happily married. We've got our wonderful, it's our wedding party. Our dear sweet Brian was in our wedding party, and then John and Michael Drummond, Blake Gurney, who's in Richmond, Virginia. He'll be back on Sunday. He's going to the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby next week. And then Bronte is going to graduate from Pullman next year, our flower girl. And then dear sweet Melissa Bratvick, who was in our wedding. She is a speech pathologist for Sedro Woolley School District, and is doing quite well. So all these kids are doing great. So that's it. Very happy.
Thank you, David. Congratulations.
I have a happy 20 because David acknowledged that I'm actually his boss. Most people think he's my boss. And that is the truth. If I could tell you the number of times that people go to him when they need to go to me. But I mean, the 20 isn't for that. The 20 is actually because today is the first meeting that Kristine is our president. And if that's not as exciting as it should be, then you guys are not doing it right. So, woo!
Thank you. Any others?
Well, I have a happy 20, but it's really not adequate because I want to thank both the Lago Rodeo Committee as well as the Lions Club for all the work that they do putting the activities together. They have, I think, a committee of maybe 10 or 11, but it's actually 4 or 5 of them that do all the work. And so I know that there isn't anybody here, I don't think, that's on that committee, but I would love for us to give a round of applause to them for all the work that they do. It's a lot of work, and they spend the whole year planning it, and they sacrifice just like all our firefighters and police do, and even some of our public works. They sacrifice the day just to make it happen for us so that we can celebrate. So thank you.
Thank you, Julia, and thank you to the Rodeo Committee.
So happy 5. We put on probably our best rodeo ever over at the rodeo grounds. We haven't gotten our final numbers yet, but I think we broke records for the 3rd, and we were just about right for the 4th. We weren't overcrowded like we were on the 3rd, but that was one of the reasons why I wasn't able to help out with the foot race. So anyway, it was a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a happy 10 here. Speaking of rodeos, they had what's called the Rascal Rodeo, which is for all the special needs kids. And if you've never been to one, you need to go to see the smiles on their face and to interact with, well, we're not normal, but the rest of the people. But yeah, it was a wonderful event, and they'll be next year again. Thanks.
Thank you.
I got 2 quick announcements. One, if you would like to come to the Sedro Woolley All-Class Picnic, it's this Saturday, and I have some registration forms if you'd still like to sign up. And then the 8, 9, and 10-year-old boys all-star team is playing this Saturday at 4 o'clock at Tezzerick. So if anybody wants to come watch some baseball, the Cubs are playing.
Thank you.
All right.
I have an apology, $5. I was unable to attend the installation, and to show appreciation to our past president, President Phil, and congratulations to Kristine. I'm sorry I missed it, but I understand it was wonderful.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
do we have any other announcements? Or happy bucks or sad bucks, or you just want to contribute to the barbecue fund? Okay, well, I apologize. I had hoped, well, Not really, because I've got a lot to say, but I was hoping this meeting would be a little more exciting. So I apologize in advance because it's going to be on a little on the drier side because we're talking about nuts and bolts and committee expectations and committee assignments. Ruth is on vacation right now, and so I have done my best to not bother her while she's relaxing because it's a well-deserved vacation for her. Because I know that the booklet, which is in her hands right now, has lots of valuable information. I have a couple of rough copies of it. I think it got sent out to everybody in May. So everyone should know their committee assignments and their team assignments. If you don't, talk to me, call me, email me, and we can figure that out, or I can show you. But going into the year and prepping for the year, something that the board has been talking about a lot is member engagement and how we can kind of bolster the club. I know that when I joined almost 9 years ago, the room was already full. So I are always full at the meetings. I'm really excited to see so many people here today. It's the biggest crowd that I've seen in a while, so that's really good. But we have been working with member retention committee and just among the board and other committees, trying to figure out how we can make Rotary more relevant to all of our members and to really increase our participation and our engagement and our involvement, because the stronger that we can be together, the more good that we're going to be able to do in the community. And we already do a lot. So just kind of thinking about that potential that we have makes me really excited for the future of our club, especially as we're still crawling out of COVID, I guess. So I'm going to start off with the really boring stuff about meeting, the regular meetings and the attendance requirements. So currently, we know that our meetings are held at 12:15 on Thursdays. And if it's changed, then we give the club due notice. For example, I know I emailed it out that we were going to have a 5th Thursday meeting in July, but my amazing secretary notified me right away that there are not 5 Thursdays in July. It's actually August. So we're going to have a 5th Thursday meeting in August. So we won't have a noon meeting. We'll have an evening meeting. And I promise Chris, everyone's going to come to the concert on the 30th. They're not going to come. They're not going to go anywhere else. They're going to be at Riverfront. But so touching on that, Rotary International has really relaxed their meeting rules and what constitutes a club to be in good standing. It used to be you had to meet every week. They've really relaxed it. They just require that you meet twice a month. And they are not very particular on how it is that you meet. So it could be a service project, it could be a social gathering, it could be anything. So we really have the potential to change the way that we do our meetings and the way that we are able to engage our members and increase our attendance and our participation. So be thinking of ways that you might want to see a meeting change. I know Travis sent out a really great email to the team captains today because he's one of the chairs for the programs, and he is encouraging everybody to think outside of the box and think about different ways that we can have our meetings. Like we had the great meeting where we went and visited the Janicki building. There's just lots of potentials for us to be able to think of different ways to do fun things. We could, instead of meeting here, we could go and clean up the park one afternoon instead of having just a general business meeting. So something to be thinking of if you're a team captain, which there's a lot of team captains in here, just be thinking about those different ways. I know I am very open to being a little more liberal with how we have our meetings. So, whoops. The next uncomfortable slide. Well, it is a little uncomfortable because it's termination for non-attendance. So this comes from the Rotary International Constitution, and that's it's the document that we abide by, and we also have our own club bylaws. But right now, we have, I'll let you guys read that, but just so you know that we have 28 members right now who do not meet any of this attendance criteria, and that they could be subject to termination for non-attendance. And then additionally, we have another 22 members who are hovering about the 30 to 60% range with no makeups. So that's 50% of our club not coming to meetings and not participating in anything. So as excited as I am for everybody to be here, we still have 50% of our club that's not here and that we really want to have involved. And so we need to figure out ways that we can either get them involved and engaged or hold a hard line and start terminating members, which I hate to do because that's not what the greatest club in the universe does. So again, continuing with the non-attendance, consecutive absences without makeups, according to Rotary International, are requests to terminate membership, which life happens. And I know that we have lots of people that have some extended leaves, and we do have membership exemptions, but we also have a lot of people that don't have membership exemptions. So I want to take questions right now or comments from the floor about this because it's something that I want to address in our bylaws when we meet later. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or comments about the attendance requirements, or is there any confusion about any of it?
Before we start with that, though, we're going to start a new thing for the year. If anyone wants to make a comment or ask a question and does so without a microphone in their hand, they'll be fined $5.
That was an executive order that I forgot to tell you guys about. Thanks, Eric.
Chris, did you have a question? Anyone else? We have 3 microphones.
So as far as, non-member member attendances and people not showing up, how much of the responsibility of that should be on the person that brought them into the club?
That's a really good question, Chris. I think that if they're a newer member, the person that did sponsor them to come in the club is their mentor and should be doing a diligent job of explaining to them what the membership requirements are. So I would say that it's very heavily weighed on the person that brought them into the club, but it's also our responsibility as fellow Rotarians to make sure that that person's feeling engaged and welcome and wanting to come. And then, if some of that's going to fall on me and the membership retention committee to reach out to those people to find out why they're not coming. So that's a really good question, Chris.
So I have a little bit different opinion of why people should be involved in Rotary. We have a lot of business owners that just can't make it to this, or they're retired or whatever. I mean, my theory is that if they pay the $150 and they donate stuff to the auction, they're in good standing. But I know there's more to that, but we have people that are some of your best people at the auction for buying stuff and donating stuff, but they live in Arizona half the year, or they have a business in town, or they're retired. And so I think there's got to be a lot of flexibility in, case by case looking at this. I think there is a group of people that you have to have come to every meeting, but there's also this fringe that I don't think they should ever get a termination note when, anyhow, that's just my opinion.
That's a good point, Mike. I appreciate those comments because that's something that as a board, we've talked a lot about. Even when you were president, we talked about it. Because there are lots of really good citizens who they do pay their dues so that they're considered a member in good standing as far as dues go, and they do contribute to the auction. There's been some talk about how we might bring them in or continue their membership on as just being an honorary member, just because we do appreciate and we recognize all the contributions that they've made to the club, and they've really helped the club get to where it's at in the status of the community. And we don't want to turn our backs on that by any means. Like because there's so much that they've given and that they've done to help us. So just thinking about the different ways that you can be a Rotarian or a friend of a Rotarian or an honorary Rotarian.
Okay. First of all, I agree with Mike almost 100%, if not 100%. I think this is an issue that is a real issue that we shouldn't even bother talking about because it doesn't seem to have any negative effect that I can see on the success or failure of our club. That doesn't mean we shouldn't identify people who are having difficulty coming and finding out why. But it might have something to do with how we report the attendance too. There are a lot of people who are doing things on the outside and they're probably not getting credits for makeup. Some of the old timers here can remember Bob Wilcox. When he was secretary of the club, we used to have at least 120% attendance all the time. And so I think we can be creative with that too.
And I appreciate that, Bill. I know that I've spoken to other members who are concerned about some people coming and doing a lot of the work and coming to meetings and other people not coming. So I don't know. I felt like it was a conversation worth having.
Yeah, Chris, when I was working in medicine, oftentimes the morning went over into lunchtime and had to miss the meeting. But we've got the electronics going and maybe we need to push that because if like I'm in the office and couldn't make the whole time period, but I could watch the rerun, so to speak, or the live for a little while and making sure that it's easy for people to get credit for doing that. They're encouraged to do it. They can do it at home and just get the people in there and, or they're on vacation, can even watch it on vacation or when I get home. So I think we need to really implement that program and push it more where people know how to do it and when it's available and who to contact if they did it. And otherwise, I would tend to agree with Mike there that, we don't need to be excluding people, but we need to encourage them at ways that work for them.
Yeah, TK, agree with that. I don't want to exclude anybody. I just want to find ways to get people more engaged so that they're getting more from their membership.
My question is it a Rotary International thing that we can't get around at all? Is this the definition?
No.
Or do we have the flexibility to mold it into what we need it to be as our club?
We have the flexibility to amend our own bylaws. They don't have to, there's exceptions. There's an exception listed in the Rotary Constitution that says that we can amend our bylaws to make it be whatever works for our club. And that's what I really want. I want our club to have our set of bylaws so that we know what it is that we're wanting for our membership and from our membership.
Because I think, and I kind of will parrot Bill and Mike, we have a huge club and you have a certain core group that's doing a lot of the work and it's appreciated for sure. But if you cut out the ones that aren't showing up, you still have that same core group doing the work. It doesn't change anything for the people. It doesn't change people's passions and what they're wanting to do for this club. So all it does is lower the number of people that you're getting dues from. And I think this is something we've talked about the whole 10 years I've been in Rotary. is the people. And I've been one of those people because I was working in Oak Harbor and here, and I couldn't attend meetings, and I got permission from Mike, to not attend meetings for a while. I'm assuming that's probably no longer. But I know what that's like. So I still appreciate being part of the club and participating in the auctions and the big stuff. But I can't always make it to the meetings. So that's just from my perspective.
No, and I appreciate that. Sorry, Carl. I do appreciate that. I'm not trying to be a super Debbie Downer up here. I just want everybody to be aware that we have 97 members in our club, and I just want everybody to feel like they can participate. Like the goal is to meet everybody where they're at and help them participate in the ways that they can and feel engaged. Because we have members who don't do anything at all.
I would like to add that a wise Rotarian once told me, you want to always be inclusive. And if you reduce the numbers because they're not here, we're not helping our club necessarily when it comes to auction time. However, if somebody is just MIA for year after year, maybe we talk to them and say, hey, what are your plans? Do you really want to do something? I think in all 100 members, if there's 2 that we had to talk to like that, that might be the thing that would be good to find out if they really want to be a member. And if they want to be a member in name only, maybe you can have a special thing for that. But all of our energy, 99.5%, should be put on promoting the club and all the fun we have so that people want to be here.
Thank you, Carl. Yeah, and
I think the point of the whole conversation is inclusivity. And if we understand what's in the bylaws, we know how we want to change them to suit the club. And making people aware of the fact that there are leave of absences available for somebody that was in Sandra's position that they can apply for, and they can apply for annually if they need to. Now we have the Zoom, people are aware that they can do that. We actually have, for the first time, honorary members this year. We have already 2 honorary memberships. So these conversations, I think, are really useful so people are actually aware of what's out there. And for somebody like myself, that's no longer actually going to be part of the younger crowd soon. Part of what I enjoy is I really enjoy the diversity of the club and the age group. And by having the engagement, even if it's not the meeting on the weekly meetings, to have that engagement is something that I feel like I can learn and glean from a group of individuals I wouldn't otherwise. So even for the folks that aren't attending the meeting, if we're able to participate with them in community service and other activities, that's what I get out of the club by having those people not MIA. And so I think it's really an outreach, not an exclusion.
Yeah, and it's more than, it's not just people coming to meetings, it's people being involved and participating. It's the engagement piece that is what I'm trying to bolster, not you have to come to meetings or you shouldn't be in the club.
As a newer member, I've had to miss a lot because I'm on the Board of Equalization and Property Taxes. But I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do a makeup. I know that I could go to another club, but knowing that I've heard at the board meeting, there's some meetings that happen that would be a makeup, but they're not saying, hey, we're having a meeting, this could be a makeup if you missed a meeting. So maybe some more communication around having a monthly get together to have a makeup, and you're doing a little project and you call it a makeup or something that people know. I've never seen a thing that says, hey, if you're missing a makeup, here's an opportunity. So that's just as a newcomer to the club.
Who is your sponsor? It's okay. No, you're fine. No, but just any Rotary function is a makeup. Even if it was with another club, it's a makeup. So that's it's okay.
So I do know about the Zoom, but I forget every single week. And so I think just adding that link to the meeting email would help a lot. That's just like a really simple thing to, I think, do. I don't know if it is or not, but but then kind of pointing to the email that Sheena sent earlier, I think making sure that the committee members know to always have a sign-up sheet for a gathering, or if somebody's putting together a gathering, because I know that I went to a few meetings that I thought were makeup, but nobody took attendance. And so they didn't get counted. And so I did just like remembering to do that. And I can do that too, but it's just remembering to do those things.
Kate online has a question. Go ahead, Kate.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, there are tools we can use online. Like one of them is called Bitly, where we can make a really short, basically like website link that's easy to remember, like SW Rotary meeting, something like that. And I'd be happy to set that up so that that is the Zoom link. And then even if it's not in the email, people can just remember, oh yeah, I can go to SW Rotary meeting and that's the Zoom. So I think that would help for people who want to join on Zoom to remember, because I know for me, I look it up in my email every week. And if we just had that link, then it would be easier for people to remember it.
That's a really great idea, Kate. I will add that to our weekly emails, and we can add it to our club bulletin too, because Zoom's always here for us to come and be engaged. And yeah, Sheena sent out an email reminding the team captains that to take attendance and to report it to her, because that is how we show that we are an engaged club. So thank you, Kate. I'll call you so I can figure out how to do the Bitly thing.
Sounds good.
Chris has a question.
Oh, I was just going to say that for the hula hoops that we get together and make on Saturday, I will be taking attendance, as well as for all 4 weeks of the concert series. If I see you there at the concerts, I'm writing your names down in order to be able to use that as a makeup well, because it is a Rotary sponsored event.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments about attendance or anything like that? I was going to go in and go over how you send emails in Club Runner, but I think that I am going to not do that today. If anybody does have questions on how to use Club Runner, we can talk. Our Club Runner website has a lot of resources. If you don't know how to log into your Club Runner account, talk to me or Sheena. We can help you with your password and your login. Please check your email when your committee chair or your monthly team captain emails you. Make sure that you reply to them so they at least know that you got it. I know that that's something that a lot of chairs and a lot of team captains, those are concerns that I've gotten from all of them, that they email everybody on their team and then they don't get anybody replying to them. So in order for our committees to function, we have to be able to communicate, especially if members aren't able to make it to meetings. We want to make sure that they're getting that information and helping them engage and be a part of the committees that they're on. Ken, do you have a question or a comment? Get a mic.
Thought just came to my mind. Kind of what everybody's been a little bit talking about, people coming to meetings. One question I had, what about a exchange hour for hour? You've got like Kyle who's put in 50 hours for the race, let's say, can use hour for hour for those makeups of meetings. Is that something that we could put in the bylaws as well?
We can.
Or people who stay after and stay till midnight to break down the auctions and doing those sort of things, and instead of just like you spend 8 hours doing the auction that night, you get one makeup.
Yeah, right now the Constitution has that's you're supposed to attend. Where did it? How does it go backwards? Do I point it at the computer or there? Where do I point it at? This, no, that explains it. The attendance requirement says you have to make up 50% of the meetings that you miss. You're supposed to attend at least 30% of the club's meetings, and you have to complete 12 hours of service. I think that's what it was, 12 hours of service. So yes, there's no reason that we can't include in our bylaws that if you set up and broke down the auction, you've essentially fulfilled your service hour duties for that part of the year. So, and anything that goes above and beyond, I think that it's more than reasonable to put that counts towards another makeup.
Kate was asking how she can do makeups as a remote member. Work that. If you're online, Kate.
Use the, yeah. It's,
Yeah, so when someone logs into the Zoom, I always write their attendance down on the sign-in sheet.
There's also opportunities. There's trainings on Rotary International. There's opportunities on our District 5050 website to do webinars. And then once you complete those trainings, or even if you could go to another club's meeting, you just need to email Sheena and let her know that you did it. But I would recommend not emailing Sheena on June 1st, 2024, all your year's makeups, report them as you get them done, so she's not inundated with makeups when she's trying to do her year-end stuff.
I'm on as well. Can you have two at a time?
Okay, yeah. One other idea is I'm not sure a lot of people are really reading the district club runner bulletin, however often, once a month or whatever that comes out, whether that could be used as credit toward a meeting to, number one, encourage people to read what More Than Our Club is doing, and number two, things that come from the district or from Rotary International, and get credit for that too. So that's certainly a big part of Rotary. Thank you.
Really quick clarification. How many members do you have to have together to make it a meeting, like, or to make up? Is it 2 or 3?
It's actually not in the bylaws.
So you're gonna have a meeting with yourself?
I mean, I talk to
I'm
myself
good.
all the
I'm
time.
done.
So
Me too. I'm always talking to myself.
it's not in the bylaws, but it's a number that I'd like to put in. I was always told that it was 3. So
Thank you. I don't think the point is a number of people. I think it's the event that it is. So if it's a club sponsored event or service activity, or Rotary International event or training, then that's what it is. So you could be doing a club event that's doesn't have 8 people or 4 people, but it's more in what the activity is. Was my understanding from what I read.
And I think a lot about the members that we have that are very involved in the community and that are doing community things. I know Danny's really involved with the Boys and Girls Club. Obviously, Kristine is involved with the Boys and Girls Club too. Like there's lots of events that we have Rotarians at that they're still doing. They might not be doing Rotary work. They're still doing community service though.
Do we know how many of these 50 approximately are not paying dues?
They're all paying dues.
All of them are paying dues?
Yes.
And it sounds like they want to be members.
I think the membership committee needs to have a consort and figure out a membership drive and gimmicks and gadgets and work on this. That seems to be the right place for this, that kind of thing.
Yes. I just wanted input from the general membership before we presented bylaw amendments. So I just trying to be transparent. John Janicki is the chair for the member retention committee and he's not here. So I'll just call him later.
I would think too that personal contact would be a big thing, Kristine, in figuring out who might be closest to someone, either their sponsor or, a little asking around and for them to personally contact and talk to the person involved. Thank you.
I'd like to follow on that is that it would be helpful, and maybe I'll just email Sheena for the people that I've sponsored to find out if any of them are on within that group you talked about, and then I would, as a sponsor, take responsibility to go talk to them. It would be very helpful if we had a one-page sheet from the membership committee of saying, like we talked about, what are the options for people so that when we contact them, we can give them those options.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments or concerns? Again, I apologize that this was a super Debbie Downer meeting, but if anyone has any questions, just feel free to reach out to me. I don't mind taking calls or emails. I'm really passionate about getting the membership engaged and involved in things that they want to be involved with and doing things that they like to do. So if there are no other comments for the good of the order, I was requested to bring back the jokes. So I have a joke. All right, so a man walks into a bank in New York City and asks for the loan officer. The man says he's going to Europe on business for 2 weeks and needs to borrow $5,000. The loan officer says the bank will need some kind of security for such a loan. So he hands over the keys and the documents to a new Ferrari parked on the street in front of the bank. Everything checks out. The bank agrees to accept the car as the collateral. So an employee takes the Ferrari, parks it in the bank's garage, and there it sits. 2 weeks later, the man returns and repays the $5,000 plus interest, which is $15.41. The loan officer says, "We're very happy to have had your business, and this transaction has worked out very nicely, but we're a little puzzled. While you were away, we checked and we found that you're a very rich man. You have a good-sized house in upstate New York and a sizable equity portfolio and no debt at all. We're curious as to why you would bother to borrow $5,000. The man replied, "Where else in New York City can I park my car for 2 weeks for $15?